Right?
No, but you can just send it to me and I can just sign it.
4,000 pound
Okay.
van.
Yeah, if we approve the first one, then she can sign the second and subsequent ones.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So it's a good thing it's the 14th, it's the one we filed.
Monuments and
Oh.
broken stones and rehabilitation on the.
Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting of the South Thompson Select Board to order at 6:03. First item is pledge of allegiance. Hannah, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, adjustments to the agenda. I'd like to add hiring David Moore as a laborer. And this is really not an adjustment, but we need to reschedule the meeting that we had scheduled for the 23rd under scheduled meetings. And Hannah, you wanted to give us an update on the solar rebate process?
Yep.
Jeff, you have anything?
Nope.
Hannah, you got anything else?
The $150 donation from Paul and Rosemary Duda.
Rosemary and Paul Duda
Yes.
to the ambulance, okay?
Yes.
Do I have any more donations?
Yeah, they're already on there.
Oh,
This was just.
this is just adjustment to the agenda, yeah. Review and approval of prior meeting minutes, are we missing the 27th?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, so you got that on your radar, though. Okay, August 20. August 13th. I had a couple of comments. Fairly minor, most of them. On B, excuse me, on. Yeah, page 5, 10B. I think, there's a ED missing in the third. Capital learn presented. Just a typo.
Oh, yep.
And then, we're in the fourth line, as the Smith property was I think that should say warranty deed. There should not be an issue. And I don't think we're looking to get titles, they're looking to get title insurance.
Yeah.
We have the title. And with those minor corrections,
I'll make one more mine.
okay?
It's on page 3, F appointments.
Oh, yes, I saw that too.
We have Jan Gaudio as APAC representative rather than airport supervisor.
Yeah, that would surprise him.
Yeah. And this term would be decided by the county, where it says on the airport administration.
Yep.
Should be by the county. And the town does not need to reappoint every year. So I'd make a motion with those edits to approve the minutes.
I'll second that. Further discussion? Hannah, could I ask a favor? Could you bold the motions? They're just,
Oh, yeah.
5 years from now, they're much easier to pick out. I think we used to do it that way. I was gonna go back and look. But when you're scanning through, like I say, 5 years from now, it's much easier to pick them out and say bold. So with that, Sue, do you have any, I forgot you were on the meeting by Zoom, sorry.
That's all right.
Do you have anything?
I do not.
Okay, so with those changes, all those in favor?
Aye. Sue.
Jeff, I.
John, I. Okay, do we have any public comment for items not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none. I'm gonna take up the consider the application for Dockside Seafood LLC for a catered function first. So Alexandra,
Yes.
okay. So we have the application for the 14th. Hannah does not seem to have the one for the 23rd. But
Okay.
if we approve this one, that becomes a moot point because she can improve second and third ones and subsequent ones unless there's an issue. And
Okay.
this one does need to be signed when you come to pick it up,
Of course.
and we already got the phone number. So I don't know if there's anything else.
Nope, I'm good. I would move.
Hi, Nash.
Hello?
Whoops, sorry.
So I'd make a motion that we approve the application for catering for the Barn Cafe for a wedding at the saltwater fields
On September 14th, right?
Yes. In fact, that's what I was, September 14th, correct?
I'll
Is there a
second-
second?
I'll second that.
Further discussion? I'd just like to mention, I think there was a little confusion on your previous application. I don't know if that got worked out or not, but if I got this right, Hannah, correct me if I'm wrong, we were told that by the that you had thought that we had denied the application. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And
I did not think that you had denied. I misunderstood your municipality's regulations in regards to catering events.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to make it clear, we didn't not approve it. That wasn't the case. It was just we didn't have I don't remember what it was, but it got tabled for some reason, but
It came into, we couldn't get it on the agenda.
yeah, it came in after the agenda. That's right.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was a very last minute application. Yes.
Yeah. And I would also point out that even if Hannah can approve them, there's nothing saying that she's not gonna be at a training session or out sick for some day if it comes in a day before the event, so.
Right.
Yeah, so,
I think the state requires 24 hours anyway, so there's a
To go to them.
To go to them, yeah.
so with that, all those in favor? John, I.
Sue, I.
Okay, you're all set. Hannah should be able to approve the second one and you guys can work that out tomorrow.
Great. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yeah, take care. Okay, back to the agenda. We did get a letter from Dana Burton, which I think clears up what he's proposing to do. Actually, I'll just read it real quick. It says, per your request, I'm writing to you regarding the status of the above named cemetery. It is our intention to convey the Forest Hill Cemetery to the town. The cemetery is currently part of a parcel owned by Albert Burton Trust / Violet Burton. The parcel will be conveyed with a permanent right of way to the cemetery to ensure future access to it. So that answers one of our questions, as the parcel is going to be conveyed with the right of way, or at least that's the intent. My mom and dad, Albert Jr. and Violet, took care of the entire cemetery for over 40 years, receiving little to no pay for doing it. My dad is now buried there. My mother, who is 90, will also be there when she passes. The cemetery is the resting place of the Gurgis, the lighthouse keeper that kept the light going during a major storm, is the subject of the book on her grave in a replica lighthouse. We will convey the property to the town of South Thomas and the hopes it will be maintained and cared for by the town. The property and road easement will be gifted to the town at no cost by my mom and her trust. We hope this meets with your approval. So that answers several of my questions. So I think the next thing we need is a deed, proposed deed that we can then run by
Special town meeting.
our lawyer, and then once we have that, call a special town meeting to accept it. I don't know, Penny, as a cemetery overseer, do you have any thoughts or comments on this, or?
Well, the deed won't spell out the whole perimeter of the existing cemetery because only 3/4 of it or whatever is on, but the access, it would, but I think it's better than
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, and because the other piece is not on the Burton
It's
property,
another owner.
and it's owned by the Forest Hills, according to the survey, by the Forest Hills Cemetery Corporation, and nobody knows who personally that is, so. But at least it's firming it up somewhat.
Yeah.
Now, there's also, if the survey is correct, there's also a little piece right at the very beginning of the easement that goes over somebody else's property, if I understand correctly. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, so, so is there a motion to preliminary accept this and ask Dana to draw up a draft deed for our attorney to review?
I would make a motion that we approve in concept, and request a draft deed so that we can have the attorney look at it.
So,
I'll second that.
further discussion? All those in favor?
Jeff?
Sue?
Hi, Sue.
Jeff, I, John, I. Okay. Tax acquired property. So I guess the question before us tonight is, do we want to require Francis Walsh to pay everything that's owed on that property? Or are we willing to let him pay the 1 year that's already foreclosed? And I can't call them taxes, because they're not taxes anymore.
Right.
But what would have been the taxes, along with the interest and the cost that we incurred trying to contact him. I personally, I know it's probably gonna happen again next year, but I personally, there is someone living there, as I understand from Terry.
There's a car there.
Well, the car there, and you, there was someone inside one day when you went
It
there,
was
so.
Francis, I guess he was buying the house that day.
So, or do we wanna, well, I guess there's two questions. Are we willing to sell it back to him, or do we wanna proceed with the sale? And if we are willing to sell it back to him, are we willing to accept just the year that's foreclosed, or do we wanna demand the whole thing?
Yeah, I feel we're obliged to sell it back to him. And I feel
I don't think we are legally.
I think so. Cause when I looked into it, cause I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. All of the new procedures, which is what we're going through right now, where we're at right now. All of those start if you sell it to somebody other than the previous owner.
Okay.
So with the previous owner, we go back to our previous practices,
Yeah.
basically.
I won't argue with you, because I feel even if we're not legally, we are morally, so.
Right, and that's my feeling as well. But having said that, I feel very strongly both ways that if we just collect for 21, that kicks the can, and I think next year we'll be in the exact same position. Unless he understands that he needs to get caught up on all of them.
Or sell them, which is.
So he can't sell it now. He can only
no,
sell it once,
I understand.
once we deed it back.
If we deed it back to him for the 1 year that's foreclosed, he then.
Then he can sell it, yeah,
With liens on it, but
right,
I just think for him,
that's a good point.
I just think that, 25, I don't know, I'm trying to live in reality and
Right,
is he gonna be able to come up with the bonds, quite honestly? I think the chances of getting the 2,500 are a lot greater than the chances of him coming up with the entire amount.
yeah, which is,
And plus, it gives him an opportunity to sell it if he truly is thinking about that.
Very good.
after I did a little research after it foreclosed, before it forecloses next year, which I bet that it will, you can file a waiver foreclosure so that we don't have the white elephant, so to speak. And it won't foreclose and become tax acquired, but they'll still owe the taxes.
But if we do that, how do we ever get him to pay the taxes? And what kind of precedent could that be setting?
It's not a good one, but it's probably better than us having that property.
Yeah, I agree, we don't want the property, but I just
Well,
think
it's
it
not,
would be a dangerous thing to start doing.
Yeah,
but it is an option, theoretically, and it's not so much the land, I think it's the building, because
Yeah.
that's gonna cost more to get out of the tax.
Right.
But I agree, it's a bad precedent.
Because you can't look at one person's property and say, well, we're not going to do that for you because we don't want your property, but somebody else that has the more valuable property, we're not going to do that for you. Do you see what I mean?
Well, actually, the law, that's exactly what the law allows.
I could do
But
that.
to me, that doesn't seem morally right either.
Right.
But if we had a Superfund pollution site, I would not wanna take ownership of it,
No,
And, yeah,
so
and they even cite things like trailers or rundown buildings that it would cost you
right, I
more.
see, yeah, I see that here.
Yeah, so I don't think it opens the box for us to do this with everybody or sets a precedence that we have to do it with everybody. And it's still just an application, right? We still have to get state approval to not foreclose, right?
I didn't really look at the form, I just, MMA said this is where you can find it, and I
Yeah.
didn't bother to go look, because it's near down the road.
Yeah, no, I don't think it is, I think it does require town meeting though, I believe.
Yes, I do think it did
Yeah.
require him.
But this is not a year down the road, this is January.
Well, I know,
We're
by the time we
looking-
get to this point.
Yeah, we're looking at 22 for taxes to foreclose in
Yeah.
January.
Right.
At least we got it back to Christmas now, it used to be a week before Christmas.
So then I'd make a motion that we sell quit claim deed back to the previous owner for, and this number here represents everything?
Yes.
No, just 21.
Just 20.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
all the stuff.
Okay,
Well, we need to be careful.
Right, for $2,504.83. And make sure that he understands that he can't sell it before we deed it back to him. And that 22, 23, 24, 25 are all coming up. And so he needs to take steps to rectify those, or we'll be back in the same situation.
That's quite a motion.
That's quite a moment, but I want him to understand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna vote in favor of this, but when we discuss it, I got a couple of other suggestions that I think we need to deal with administratively, so. Further discussion on the motion? All those in favor, Sue,
I,
Jeff,
I.
John, but Hannah, I would not take cash. And I would not take a personal check and hand over the quitclaim deed. I would take a bank check or some other irrevocable instrument. That's just my personal feeling, and we need to make sure the quitclaim deed is written in such a way that it doesn't release the 22, 3, 4 tax obligations. I think we need to have them specifically, we had some wording around on the deed that said, to the effect, this release does not include or release from something, it's around here, so. We had the attorney draw that up a few years ago. Okay, we ready to move on? You now have a phone number for him?
Yes, he gave it to me, when he called.
All right,
And he knows he cannot sell it now, right?
Right.
Okay.
okay, revaluation proposals. Hannah, were we able to get an update at all? I know you said you were working on some info that Josh was looking for.
Yeah, Kevin, I tried to get in touch with Kevin about it, but he was so busy the last time he came in with all the real estate taxes and everything, he didn't get to it. I tried to help him Friday, but I realized it was on Vision, and I don't know Vision. So I have to get in touch with Kevin again to see if he can do it when he's not here. But he hasn't gotten any of that yet.
Well, his preliminary cost estimate, if we did it in 2027, was 100. This is our CS, was 172.5, right? And our KRTs,
145.
yeah. I'm, based on information that I've received, which I don't want to go into the details, I'm inclined to go with RCS, even though it's more money.
Yeah, the only thing we gotta realize is that RCS is Trio.
Right.
So
So
we
we get
get
rid
that.
of we'll get rid of the two systems.
Yeah, did we find out what the differential is? There a cost differential in maintaining the
Uh,
Trio versus the
no,
Vision? Yeah.
Why would you like to go with RCS over the other one?
May have to go in executive session.
Yeah, I don't know, can we for that?
Yeah,
You think so?
yeah, so.
Hang on to where,
And also, where did you see the cost on the KRT? I didn't see it.
I didn't,
Page 4 at the very top.
Jeff read it, I had seen it before, but. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, 145,000, okay.
No, it's,
this is not an officer or a.
no, but it's hiring it's the same as hiring somebody. So,
Yeah.
discussion or consideration of employment, appointment, assignment, compensation, evaluation of an individual or group, to work for the body or the agency, investigating or,
See, I see that as employees or appointees, I don't see that as contractors personally. But we can,
yeah, I mean, because
well, I have not, how do I word this? The information I have learned, about timeliness and thoroughness is very positive with RCS.
Okay,
that works.
And if we're gonna spend this kind of money, I wanna get the best job we can get.
but this
And I
also,
like his, the towns that he's doing in Maine and the size of them and.
so kind of like
Simply put-
towns.
Simply put, I like RCS's record of demonstrated effectiveness.
Okay,
And I would prefer that we move towards Trio anyway, I'd rather move away from Vision personally. I think Vision, there's a lot of pluses to Vision, but there's also too many negatives with Vision.
Well, it's, yeah.
we would have more control if we had both Vision, both everything in Trio.
Yes,
Because if we want to answer
Tweak.
something, we have to call Vision and usually they don't get right back to you and if it's right in Trio, Hannah can just click away and find what she needs.
yeah. And our assessor's agent can tweak areas and
Yes.
it's much easier
Yeah, much easier,
to do mini reevals.
yes. They talk to each other where Vision doesn't talk to Trio.
So, given when he told us about his scheduling, I think we obviously can't commit to this tonight. Number one, we have to have town meeting approval to spend that kind of money.
Yep.
But I would like to at least preliminarily get on their calendar. And I don't quite know what that motion looks like, but, I guess, it can be as simple as to preliminarily, accept the proposal provided by RCS pending town meeting approval and further negotiation of details.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Further discussion? Anybody? And we're talking about the 27 one, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
which I think will work better.
2027.
Yeah, which I think will work better for us.
Yeah, okay. Cause right now, we only have 96 in the reserve.
But we put some in this year that
Yeah.
haven't shown up. And this will give us two more chances.
Yeah. So. Okay, further discussion? All those in favor? Sue?
Aye, Sue.
Jeff, I.
John, I. So, Hannah, you'll try to fine tune that information with Kevin and what he's looking for, so he can
Yeah.
fine tune. And you'll communicate to him
Yeah, I'll
what
talk
we
to
did
Josh
here tonight.
and Kevin and.
And hopefully. Yeah, he can get us on his 27 calendar.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so the dangerous building public hearing, we have now scheduled it for October 1st at 4 PM, correct? And the notices have gone out. Do you know if the lawsuit's been filed yet? You know, you probably don't, but,
I don't
okay,
know yet.
okay. So do we need to do anything else there?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. We did go outside. Okay, we have a letter from Betty Thomas resigning as the EMA director. I don't quite understand what she means, how she's only gonna be in advisory capacity until October 1st.
We don't have an advisory.
I know, she's either our EMS director until October 1st or isn't, but be that as it may, is there a motion to accept her resignation as of October, was it September 30? Or October 1st? I don't know.
Says
September,
she's gonna be done as the EMA director on September 1st.
right.
September 1st?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, she still is our EMA, but she says, I'm gonna resign as of our,
My resignation date will be effective October 1st.
yeah,
Okay, rather than complicate things too much.
yeah, I know.
I would do that we,
Difficult.
that we approve her resignation as of October 1st. With thanks for several years of really good work. I don't know if you guys follow it, but in the state and in the county especially, having municipal EMA directors traditionally has been a square filling position. You're required to have one, but they didn't function the way they were fully intended to. And in my eyes, she was the first one that really did jump in there and act like an EMA director. And the county recognized her as that as well, used a bunch of her documents as boilerplates for it. So again, I'd like to thank her for her years of service.
Is there a second?
I will second that, including the thanks.
Further discussion? All those in favor, Sue?
Do I?
Jeff, I.
John, I. Okay. The next item is gonna be taken up, at the end of the meeting in possible executive session. We of course have to vote on that. Monthly reports, we have 2, code enforcement and EMA. Becky, consideration appointment of Becky Butler, who's the assistant EMA director, for a 1-year term ending 2025. Actually, wouldn't it be ending at the end of town meeting?
Right.
It would be the same as the other one, is it? So it's not a 1-year term, it would be.
To the first select board meeting
Following the
the
annual town
annual
meeting,
town
right?
meeting in 2020.
My understanding is Hannah, I asked Hannah to reach out to Becky. Becky said she was willing to do it until a suitable person was found, which I hope that doesn't imply she's not suitable. But, I assume she means another suitable person. But with that in mind, is there a motion to appoint her until whenever we just discussed?
Effective 1 October.
Effective 1 October until the first select board meeting subsequent to the annual town meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Sue?
Sue, I.
Jeff, I.
John, I. Okay, we have several donations. Do you wanna give us an update on the solar rebate before we go into the donations? I just don't wanna forget that.
Yep, I talked to Meg, she did say it has to go through the IRS. So she sent me some links and videos that I have to watch before I even start the file. The first step is to file with the IRS and get a number, and then I have to fill out a bunch of forms to send in, but she said it's gonna take a while. In order to get this rebate money, she said this is a long process, so.
A while being 6 years or 3 weeks?
She didn't give me a rough estimate, she just said it's gonna take a while.
How much is the grant for?
The rebate,
The rebate,
that's quite a bit.
I'm not
Do
sure.
you recall?
I don't, it's a percentage in like, of 50,000, somewhere around 14,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's not chump change.
But then again, Sundog wants us to put a fence as soon as possible, so that's something to think about.
So we don't, without the rebate, the town would have to lend the money to do the fence, assuming we'll get the rebate.
Right.
And do we have any more information on the cost of the fence or anything, or?
Well, I think we're looking more at doing it ourselves at this point, because we have the fencing, we have a volunteer that would make the holes for the posts and volunteers who would assist with that, and then, so the major expense would be the rock and weed barrier.
Okay, didn't we already approve that,
I
though?
think we did now.
Approved.
The rock and the weed barrier, we approved
Yeah.
purchasing that with the intent that when the rebate came, if and when the rebate came, it would pay us back, that's my recollection.
That's how I recall.
Is that your recollection?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that comes first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember how much that was, but,
I believe you said around 2,000.
A couple thousand.
Yeah.
yeah. So is Sundog coordinating that, or is that something the town?
No, that's what,
But
that's the town.
So the town has to
Yeah,
coordinate
from
it?
the very beginning, they said no fence was required.
Yeah.
Who's, I'm sorry, what did they say?
Sundog said, oh, no, you don't have to have a fence, but I think that
The
the
state,
state inspector said you should have a
Yeah.
fence.
Should have or have to?
I don't know, I think he told Sundog, but
yeah, he wants to see one since it's so close to a playground. He doesn't want kids to go near it.
Plus, we also want to protect the asset, I would assume.
and we had always intended to have a fence
Mm.
because of it being a playground.
Are those poles, they're just poles, there's no cement on them?
Yeah.
Yes, what?
There's no cement. on it.
So they can just be driven?
Well, I think that we would cement them with the dry cement method.
They don't do that anymore because you get the frost action and listed, they just drive them nowadays.
Well, I don't know if they'd be up for that, but we could try.
Yeah. I mean, like out here, the ones around the tennis court have the cement that they put in the holes and they're a mess. The ones on the basketball court, they're just driven posts and they're in much, much better shape and angles and and I think that's the way they do it these days, is they just drive them.
We'd love to have you over to see.
Well, maybe I can help out a little bit.
Or just tell us how to do it, we'll do it.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well-
I'm the type of person that has to be there to figure it out. But maybe we can get someone,
We have a tractor.
it depends on how easy stuff drives there, you know?
Well, right now, we're digging holes in the cemetery, it's not going all that easy because stuff is dry.
In the cemetery. Yeah,
The ground, I mean.
yeah. Well, we could maybe try to drive a couple of holes and see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know what there is for ledge up there or whatever, but.
I think it's basically all fill. They used a post hole digger to put in the brackets that hold these two rows of 8-foot panels, and they didn't, it seemed to go very quickly. So I think it's just bony fill, but that's a post hole digger, and I don't know how they're set, other than they made the holes with post hole.
Are there lateral connections between the post pipes, smaller pipes that run from post to post?
On the solar array,
No, on the fencing. Cause that's what gets tricky, cause you gotta have them perfectly,
No.
perfect distance. If
no,
there isn't, if it's just posts,
it was just post and they had clips that hook the chain link to the
okay,
post.
well,
And
that,
then they had a flat bar
cat,
that went through the top row of the
Ah.
fencing, so it wasn't
okay,
floppy.
yeah, that's much easier, okay. Sorry,
And
didn't,
there's a gate.
that was a gate. So. Be some expense with that, I mean, no matter what we do, there's gonna be clips and wires and. So do we wanna proceed with that, and
Yeah.
if we can, go with the
Yeah.
volunteer plan?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so you're gonna work on the rebate and as you have time?
David Moore,
Hmm?
we'll do David Moore.
Yes, I would recommend that we hire David Moore as a laborer. I talked with him at length yesterday, he's, seems quite skilled in a number of areas, he works for a float maintenance business, but he does work from home somewhat, he'd mainly be available evenings and weekends. Since he moved to town, he was thinking of some way he could kind of maybe help the town out, so he sees it as sort of partial volunteering, partial work, because I don't think $20 an hour is what's attracting him. So, but he seemed very skilled in a lot of areas, and he has tools, and I'm not sure if Toby is helping me a little, but I think he's got a couple of irons in the fire, and he may be leaving the 15th anyways, and so I might end up using both of them a little bit, him for the more highly skilled things, but so, I was thrilled to have a chat with him, so I would strongly urge that you appoint him as a laborer, and again, it would just be very limited basis, but he did say he would be willing to, if we rented a lift, to fix the panels on the salt shed that are way up high. And I can't find anybody to do that, and they're kind of coming loose, and I'm afraid if we get a windstorm, it's gonna, so anyways.
Well, I'd make a motion to hire David Moore as a laborer for the temporary uncompensated part-time interim road commissioner.
I will second that.
All those in favor? Sue,
Do I?
Jeff, I.
And John, and maybe he can help us with fencing.
Fencing. There you go.
Okay, and then, let's deal with the rescheduling of the meeting. I'm just afraid we're gonna forget these things. Then we'll come back to these beautiful donations. So the 20th, we were gonna do 24th, but I'm not available. So we moved it to 23rd without checking with David, and David needs the room that night. He has an auxiliary meeting scheduled, so.
What time is that now?
Six.
Six.
So, one option is just skip it to the 8th and just call something if we need something, but you're gone the 8th, or no?
No, I'll be here on the 8th.
Because you're gone several of those days,
And we're doing a hearing on the 30th.
right, and we could always add,
On the 1st.
we could always add, if we had in a couple items, quick items, we could add it there.
Yeah.
Cause I think we're gonna have a hard time finding a date.
I agree.
Sue, any thoughts?
No, so right now we have the 24th and the 30th.
Yeah. No, we have, the 24th was canceled.
Okay,
That was rescheduled to the 23rd, but then David needs the meeting room, so we can't do the 23rd.
okay,
So since we're gonna have the hearing on the 1st, Jeff's thought was if we had one or two items, we could tack it onto that at 4
Okay.
o'clock. And
okay,
then we're meeting again on the 8th. And Jeff is gone most of October with about 4 or 5 days in the middle, right? Right.
okay. So I have the 8th
So-
then. Okay,
Yeah, so the thought would be to just cancel the 24th meeting. Or
Okay.
not- Which is not the 23rd. And just cancel that and try to limp through to the 8th. I mean,
So
we
nothing-
haven't had,
so nothing the
Right.
week of the 23rd.
that's the thought.
Okay,
Unless Hannah, you see something coming up there. I mean, you don't have a bunch of stuff lined up for the next agenda already, right?
No,
We had one thing, I can't remember what that was.
demo stuff.
Oh yeah, talk about the demo. Right. So, and that can wait to the 8th. I mean, those tickets don't expire.
They went out this December.
Right, but you gotta order them. How long does it take to order new stickers?
Well, we just got the color, so anytime now. But, it might take 4 weeks.
So you're gonna order the stickers without the price being set?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Oh, okay, so that doesn't even impact the timeline?
no,
Okay. Okay,
but we'd like to do the price before we start giving them out.
oh, yeah, no, so.
And this, transfer station has ordered their stickers that are effective 1 January. But they're out of the old stickers, so as soon as they get them in, they're gonna sell the new ones. So if they come in next month, you'll end up getting a couple of months free.
Yeah, I also wanna talk about stickering like they do the vehicles.
Yeah.
I think we're getting a lot of stuff out there, it's not ours,
It's possible.
the more I have observed. And I think Terry thinks that too, and Bill does too. I know it's a pain in the neck for people, because if you have more than one vehicle, you gotta make sure you take the right vehicle or buy 2 stickers, but why should we be paying for stuff that's coming from? Because we're cheap, I mean, it's the cheapest place around to get rid of stuff.
Yep.
Anyways, okay. That's the next meeting. So at this point, we're no meeting the 23rd. Okay, back to donations. There's a $5,000 donation from Elizabeth Lund for the Library and Community Center Facilities Committee. Was there a letter or a form with that one, Hannah?
Yes, there was.
Is that in here?
Oh, wait, not for Elizabeth Lund, no, just the
Is that in here?
donation card, nope, and I forgot to print them, but
Okay.
I can, if you want to, I can do it real quick.
Oh, okay, but there were, there were no strings on this one other than they were for the the facilities committee
Right,
for
not for-
architectural and engineering work.
Not for Elizabeth, no.
Not. Yeah, maybe you better get those, so we are all on the same page. Either the letter or the forms.
Oh.
I wrote down when you were gonna be out of town, and I can't remember where I wrote it. October 2nd through the 7th and 14th through the 30th, right?
What about Lions hot dogs, are they going to September?
Yep, they're gonna go through September. And then they're done, they're gonna take about a month and a half off, and then they'll start selling trees and right after Thanksgiving. So, but they did have a discussion at the last Lions meeting about not doing trees for two reasons. One is, there's a lot of people buying fake trees now, and the demand is down significantly. And the other is that we do it to support our scholarships. And the hot dog sales have been so good that we can get away this year without selling trees to get our 4 scholarships and the Wreaths Across America. So, but I think I talked to Buck a couple days ago, and he's still willing to get trees. This year, he's gonna do it different. He's gonna get the trees once a week. Before, he bought them all at the beginning, so if he bought near the end, they were a few weeks old. Now he's gonna do them weekly, and we're not gonna have to pay for the ones we don't sell.
Kevin's gonna have any old one.
That could be good.
Okay, so we have a donation from Elizabeth Lund. It basically says, it doesn't put any conditions on it at all, other than, it does say if funds remain unspent to be returned to her. But my understanding is that she conveyed to you that it's for, facilities and, architectural and engineering work. Is
Mhm.
that correct?
Yeah.
And that's your understanding? Okay, doesn't specify that here, but, so with that information, is there a motion to accept the donation from the $5,000 donation from Elizabeth Lund?
I move we accept $5,000 from Elizabeth Lund for the Library and Community Center Facilities Committee.
I will second that.
Okay. Is there further discussion? Anything guys want to add? No? Okay. All those in favor, Sue?
Do I?
Jeff,
John, I. Okay, we have a $5,000 donation from Developers Collaboration Pre-Development for the Library and Community Center Facilities Committee, and there was nothing with it, just the check. So we will have to get a form filled out after the fact. My understanding is that's Kevin Bunker's company.
Yes,
Um,
it is.
Okay, and it's also my understanding it's for the same purpose for architectural engineering work. Does anybody disagree with that representation? Okay. So is there a motion to accept?
I move we accept $5,000 donation from Developers Collaboration Pre-Development for the Library and Community Center Facilities Committee.
I will second that.
Further discussion? Anything you want to add? No? All those in favor?
Sue, I.
Sue?
Jeff,
John? We have a $5,000 donation from Paul DiMaggio. There is a brief letter with that in a form. I'll read it to you. Says, as I noted in my email to the board of June 28th, I am pleased to donate $5,000 to the town and or the auxiliary committee. I think this is being accepted as a town donation here. For the advancement of renovation effort of the Gilbert Butler building to be used as a community center and library. These funds are expressly donated to help defray the cost of architectural and or structural analysis service as the project is evaluated. As such, there is no need to return them if the project does not move forward, as this is given to advance the knowledge as to whether or not the project is feasible. And he's filled out a form. And basically reiterates the same information on the form. So is there a motion to accept a $5,000 donation from Paul DiMaggio for that same purpose?
I move we accept $5,000 donation from Paul DiMaggio for the Library and Community Center Facilities Committee. Thank you, Paul. Still on?
I will
Is there a
second
second?
that.
Paul, did you want to offer a comment or did we represent your donation correctly?
No, that's fine, thank you.
Okay. So, all further discussion, all those in favor, Sue?
Do I?
Yeah,
Jeff, I.
and John, I. Okay. We have some warrants to sign, we've done with that.
Two
You
more.
have two more donations.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
I move we accept a $100 donation from Variola Construction for the ambulance service.
For a second,
I'll second that.
further discussion, all those in favor? Sue,
Sue, I.
Jeff, I.
John, I. And then we also have a $100 donation from Rosemary and Paul Duda. To the ambulance.
Is that 100 or 150?
150.
Yeah.
150.
So I move we accept $150 from Paul and Rosemary Duda for the ambulance service.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All those in favor? Sue,
Sue, I.
Jeff, I.
John, I think that's it, other than jumping back up. Did you know if Kristen was out there?
She is.
Okay.
Oh, she's here.
Yeah, she's at a meeting, but somebody
Yeah,
else.
she's on a Zoom meeting, but she said come get her when we were ready.
Cool.
Was there anything else? Am I missing something? Because I owe you, did you remember what you thought was? Anna, you said you thought there was one other thing, but you couldn't remember what it was?
No, I think it was just the meeting date. And I was like, oh, no, we're good,
Okay,
I think,
I always think of something at 10 o'clock tonight.
yeah.
So, you'll get Kevin, fill out complete one of those forms, and you still sending out the letters for
Yes.
IRS purposes and stuff, so. Okay, would you invite Kristen in and we'll have a motion to go into executive session? Thank you, John, for your generous donation of a week ago. Thank you. Or 2 weeks ago, I guess, maybe 3. When do you leave? Not for long. So Hannah, before I lose these,
To say I won't lose.
you have them, yeah, citations. Thank you.
So I'll make a motion. In accordance with MRSA Title I, Chapter 13, Paragraph 1, subparagraph 405, 6A and E, to have a discussion with our attorney.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Further discussion? I'm gonna hold on a vote until Kristen walks through the door. There she is. Yeah, we're just about to vote on the motion that's already been made, so all those in
Yeah.
favor, Sue,
Sue, I.
Jeff,
Jeff, I.
John, I. Not even close.
And by the book.
Oh, yeah. Except for, before we don't go by the books, I'm gonna take chair's privilege and remind everyone that an email I sent out today that Arthur Gritton has been on the fire department for 50 years.
No.